Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
And I'm D White.
Today on the new party, we're going to get into Dr. Umar's latest reactions to the announcement of Joe Biden dropping out as the Democratic nominee for the upcoming 2024 election. He gave some really strong reactions this week. He also gave his opinion on the shooting that had occurred with Trump and why the DNC has decided to move forward with Kamala Harris. Let me start with him giving his reaction on Kamala Harris. I will say before we begin, for all of those Dr. Umar fans, I'm actually agreeing with him on some of the things he's saying. So please keep the hate to a minimum this week. But we like the comments, so thank you so much for all those that checked out our last video. And here we go with the first video that we have.
House niggas, just like Barack Obama, they do what they need to do to stay close to the white power structure. She made a career locking up black people. This is the same woman who went on international television, Art, let me remind you, about a year or two ago and said America is not a racist country. You want me to go vote for a so-called black woman who went on international television and told the world that America is not a racist country? She spit in the face of the family of Trayvon Martin. She spit in the face of the family of Breonna Taylor. She spit in the face of the family of Michael Brown.
And I guess now we can add Sonia Massey, unfortunately, to that list. Gray, I feel like you're itching to say something. So what do you think about what he said?
I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks on Republicans when they say that. I didn't know Kamala Harris actually said this. I didn't see it. I mean, it's probably true to say I didn't know that she did it. So I feel
You
like
know that she did it.
I feel like with a statement in general, when you say America is not a racist country, if I was someone myself, even to say that, I would say, well, I haven't experienced racism, this and that. I've had my own brushes with racism, but I feel like if you're going to say that statement, speak from your own personal point of view rather than say that's how it is in the entire country. What do you think, D. White?
Well, I'm kind of in the middle because I personally don't deal with a lot of racism in my life, but I do know it exists. I have seen it before, but personally, it just doesn't affect me in my day to day. So I would never make a blanket statement like that, like you said, saying that America isn't a racist country, because I know a lot of racist people, white, black, and other, but it just doesn't affect me. So Dr. Umar was kind of correct, saying she did say it. I heard her when she said, and it is a spit in the face to people who have dealt with that. What do you think, Miss Nora?
I definitely think racism exists. I've encountered it all my life. I've encountered it from white people. I've encountered it from black people. Yes, I know that you're going to say black people cannot be racist, but I've encountered it. In fact, I encountered it today. Someone told me that I'm not black. I think that's a form of racism. I think it's a form of colorism. I think it definitely exists. I personally encountered the KKK in my life as a little girl. I'll never forget it. I was a little girl in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They were outside marching. That we pulled up in a car. My grandfather was sitting in the front seat. My grandfather's an African American man. My grandmother was a light skinned Jamaican woman herself. They were both. I'm not saying they were both Jamaican. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. They were both black Jamaican from Jamaica, but my grandfather looks like he's a black skinned African American man. My grandmother could have passed for a light skinned or Spanish looking female. The KKK member, he was handing out flyers on the corner. He was in the garb. I'll never forget it. 4 years old. He looked inside. He was about to hand it to my grandmother because because she looked light, and he saw my grandfather and he pulled it back. So yes, I personally have seen it. I've seen the KKK march in my life, so I know it exists. So for her to say something like that to me blows my mind. Blows my mind. And I'm glad that you don't experience it on a daily basis. That shows that we've come a long way as a country. Do I think it's an everyday issue? No. But do I think it exists in 2024 today? Of course. Do I think it's as predominant as it was in the 1960s? No. And I'm not saying that. But I think it does exist. Gray?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for telling us stuff from your personal experience. Myself, been with police, maybe some careers, but similar to D White, it's not something that happens to me on a daily basis. My girlfriend is half white. I'm around a lot of white people. You know, I deal with a lot of people that seem to be nice to people of color. So I can understand why someone would say, you know, they haven't seen racism. So I understand. What you think, D White?
Yeah. Like I said, I do know that racism it does exist in this country, probably exists all over the world, not just America. But I think the reason that we have so many interactions because we have such a melting pot of people from everywhere. So even though I've seen where I'll be dealing with a white person at work and they'll say something derogatory to me about like a Spanish person, but not to, they wouldn't direct it at me, but they'll direct it at somebody else. So I think that's
Right.
why we probably deal with so much racism when it is there. But like I say, I'm not dealing with it on my day to day, but
Right.
I do acknowledge that it does exist.
So the next clip, Dr. Umar discusses why Democrats can't do anything specifically for Black people. And also, I want to play a clip of Kamala Harris following up with this on what she said she would do for Black people if elected.
Time art. I'm not poking fun at her because she's being mixed race. I want to be clear. I'm poking fun at her because she can rarely be found speaking up for Black people. My issue ain't her being mixed race. Nobody's responsible for how they come into this world. My issue with her is not identifying with her people. I remember another interview I saw with Kamala Harris Art, and she said, somebody asked her, what are y'all going to do for Black people? And she said, we can't pass laws just for Black people. Can't do anything just for Black people. Why did y'all pass a law only for Asians? Why did y'all pass a law only for Native Americans? Why did y'all pass a law only for transgenders? Why did y'all pass a law only for LGBTQs? Why did y'all pass a law only for immigrants?
And I'm going to follow up with the clip that he's referring to, where Kamala Harris says we can't just do for Black people.
Really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
Gray, what do you think about what he said, as well as what Kamala Harris was saying, in her interview a few years ago when she was initially running to be president?
First, with Dr. Umar's comments, I feel like mixed people have to walk like a fine line. I feel like Barack Obama or like Drake, they get the black card approval because they with Black women, they're doing certain lifestyle things. But somebody like a Tiger Woods that's with a plethora of white women, they go say, oh, okay, he's white. So it's just like, with mixed people, it's kind of like they got to walk that thin line. I mean, she married a white guy. She was with a Black dude. I mean, but she's dated Black men. So, but she doesn't get that pass. So, I mean, it's like a double-edged sword where I feel like multiracial people have to deal with. As far as Kamala Harris saying, I'm not going to do everything for Black people, I feel like that weight is on every Black politician, whether it's a Barack Obama or Tim Scott. You got to make sure and say, and I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, I'm not just doing stuff for Black people. I'm doing stuff for everybody, and that because their assumption is unfortunately that they have Black people's priorities on top of mind.
I don't agree, though, that it's on both parties, though. Republicans don't pander to Black people. Republicans don't do stunts like what you're going to see the Democratic Party do in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months, they're going to bring Beyonce out. They already brought up Martin Lawrence. He said he's officially campaigning. So they're bringing out all the Black celebrities, and he talks about that as well in another clip. And they're going to say, come vote. We care about you. And then radio silence. And then 3 years again, they'll start it up.
Let me respond before we pass to D White. It's pandering on both sides. I've seen some of the most craziest rappers on Trump stage. I mean, the crimes that Kodak Black, Chef G have been accused of are way worse. And then you got Kanye West, who Trump wanted to do a Sunday service to bring unity. So it's done on both sides. Tim Scott may be a bad example. I haven't seen him do that directly, so I'm not gonna put the charge on him that he does that. So I'll take that and say pull that back on him specifically. But they pander on both sides. So what do you think about the comments, D. White?
It's very fascinating to me how everybody else can be a priority to their people except for black people. Black people are not allowed to. We're not. Well, we are allowed. We just don't do it apparently. Um, we for some reason there's some stigmatism towards saying that I'm going to help my community. I'm going to help my people. I don't have to. You don't have to only help black people. But when do we get some laws passed for us? A couple Asian people, when COVID happened, a couple Asian people got beat up. They passed a whole bill, stop Asian hate. And if you did something to Asian people, they threw you under the jailhouse for it. They changed a whole bunch of laws around the whole country to make gay marriage legal, to do for certain stuff for the transgenders, like Dr. Umar was saying, and I agree with that 100%. But yet and still, we've been here. We got here originally not under our own free will. We were forced to be here, and we had to fight for liberties. We had to fight for the little bit of rights that we did get. I'm not going to say a little bit of rights because I feel like I'm a free citizen now. I don't want to belittle my rights.
You had to fight to be an equal.
Yes,
just to be equal to the ancestors that brought you here. I understand what you're saying.
Yes. We had to fight to be equal, but now now that everyone, it just seems like everyone else can get special privileges except us, and I don't agree with that. And then you can't expect when other politicians get in office who don't look like you to care about your voice or to care about your vote when you vote for the people who look like you who did nothing for you and you still vote for them anyway. Because voting for Kamala Harris is just voting for another cycle of what we just had. We didn't get anything then, and we're not going to get anything this time if she wins, which I'm sure she's not going to win. I'm not worried about that at all. Not even in the slightest. But she made her living locking up a bunch of black people and keeping people locked up for things that we could have been freed from, and she had no problem doing that. But helping us and giving a helping hand up, even as small as it might be, what's to stop the black hate? Anything. I don't know. Give them something. I think they feel like because they gave us Juneteenth, which they gave everybody Juneteenth, not black people. It's not black people get a day off from work. Everyone gets a day off. To me, it just makes no sense. But what do you think, Ms. Nora?
I 100% agree with you. I think that we need to start helping our community. Stop waiting on people. Stop looking for saviors. I don't think someone made a comment like they said that Trump's our savior. No, I don't think Trump is black people's savior. I think that the difference is Trump is not promising the same rhetoric, the same pandering. Trump is actually giving tangible things that he's willing to do for the community. May not be specific like just this for black people, but at least he's going into black communities and he's saying, I'm going to create these jobs. This is going to benefit the community in this way. I've yet to hear that. All I hear is, hey, we hate Trump. That's why you need to vote for us. And I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, like I don't think that Trump is our savior. I think he makes the environment better for every American. Right. We're safer. He's deregulating a lot of the red tape, for businesses. And he definitely believes in tariffs, which I love. If you want to do business in America, we're going to charge you for it. You're not just going to make money here and take the money back to your country and run. We're not going to let you do that. So, and those kind of things help everyone in America.
Gray, anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. Well, the next video that we're going to get into, Dr. Umar actually goes into what he predicts is going to occur at the DNC convention. We kind of touch on it, so I'll click that clip and we'll watch it closer.
Chicago like you have never seen. I cannot wait to see which rapper. I cannot wait to see which rapper, which basketball player, which football player, which comedian, which actor. I cannot wait to see which one of these house nigga celebrities is going to go to bat for the Democratic Party. And here's my thing, Art. I'm not dismissing the black celebrities for speaking at the Democratic National Convention just for that reason. I'm dismissing them, Art, because they're going to go up there, show up and show out for the Democrats without a single promise to their community, without a single pledge to their community, without a single concession to their community. With all we've been through and all we about to go through, how the hell can you fly your ass to Chicago, basketball player, football player, rapper, actor, dancer, singer, comedian? How
1,000,000% agree. Allegedly this week, Kamala Harris raised $2 million on a call with 100,000 Black people. $2 million that could have went towards our communities. Gray, what do you think?
I think the first thing is we need to stop putting celebrities on pedestals where it's left or right. And like people like us who's researching politics and getting the information and giving it to the people should actually be the people who you go to for facts. As far as the celebrities going out there for the Democratic Party, I'm not surprised at that at all. They tend to be the people that the mainstream people like. They've got the popular vote over the past 20 years. But do I think it's a celebrity's job, somebody who's benefiting, who wins, to go and say, oh, you have to do this for the Black community? I'll use Michael Jordan's quote when he was asked to denounce Republicans. He said, Republicans buy Jordans too. I'm not saying anything. So as far as a business move, I don't feel like you should put a celebrity into that type of situation where they might be affected. What do you think, D. White?
Yeah, I don't think the problem is with the celebrities. I think that they're just going to get their bag. And I have one thing that you realize about me is I'm all for free market capital. I'm all for going to get that check. Whatever you need to go do it to feed your family and feed your kids, I'm for it. If it's better than you and lining your pockets, go for it, right? The problem is that Black people, not just my people, but mostly my people, we look to people like that for the answers when they don't have them. Just because someone's a great actor or a great basketball player or a great football player doesn't mean we need to be looking at them for political advice. And the Democrats have mastered the art of getting the Black bourgeoisie, if you will, to come out, give a speech, a song and dance, and tell everybody who love them, because we have such an affinity for celebrities. Tell everybody who loves them and follows them, you should vote this way. That guy's bad over there. Don't look that way. Pay attention over here. Look at me. Stay over here. And it works year after year, election cycle after election cycle. So hopefully that one day we wake up and we start doing our own due diligence and start checking for the facts and not just what the pretty face said on TV.
I want to say it's an American problem because last night, another call Kamala Harris had, she raised supposedly $8 million with white women now. And they were all excited that Pink called in. And I'm like, who cares what Pink has to say? I think it's an American problem in general, but definitely Black people are able as a collective to get swayed, the larger majority. So I have to agree with that, unfortunately. So the next clip that we're going to get into, he discusses why he thinks Kamala Harris was chosen to run.
In 2022, there were 10 million more women registered to vote than men in America. Now I'm talking everybody, Black, white, red, yellow, brown, gay, straight, everybody. There were 10 million more women registered to vote than men, even though there's only about 3 more million come to the Black community for reasons of extermination, incarceration, miseducation, right? And sexual confusion, right? So outside of Black America, the male-female gender balance is almost the same. I believe there's 168 million adult women in America, and there's about 165 million adult men in America. So you only have a 3 million person discrepancy. Now, those 10 million votes, there's 10 million more women registered to vote than men are. Elections have been decided by votes less than 10 million. You've had elections decided by 1 million. You had elections decided by 2 million. You've had elections decided by 3 million. You've had elections decided by 700,000 votes.
So pretty much he's saying that he feels like the reason why she was chosen is because of the 10 million more women voters. Gray, do you think women will be the deciding factor in this election cycle?
I think women will affect swing states, and I think that the abortion thing is they're trying to double down on that as far as the Republican Party. But again, why I say people should watch us is that we've done research, and one of the things that we've said in previous videos is that we don't know if anybody else can get the donations that Joe Biden got, then that the money has to go to Kamala Harris. So I think he is making valid points on women, and I think Democrats are trying to make history as the first woman president. But I think some of the prior stuff that we talked about as far as the money, the donations that Joe Biden have is probably a much bigger factor. What about you, D. White?
Yeah, I agree with that. I do believe that because the money legally can't go to anybody else except Kamala, and that's questionable. The I think it's the FEC. They already said that they were supposed to get clearance before they transferred the money, and they didn't do it. But they're not. They're just going to go ahead and do it and deal with any penalties later, because any penalties or actions that happen against the Democratic Party for transferring the funds illegally will be after the election is over. So they don't care about that. Whatever fine they're going to get, they'll deal with that later. This is more important to them. So so that's definitely why I believe that they nominated her, because of that. I mean, even though the waters are muddy, you can kind of understand why we would give the money to Kamala, right? It kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because she was the VP, even though legally that's not how it works. So I do think that that's a part of it, and I also believe that Dr. Umar is correct, because girl power is a real thing, and most of the women in my life who I know personally, before they definitely wasn't, they weren't voting for Biden, didn't care no matter what. But now that the woman kind of looks like them, a few of them are leaning over that way to, I'm going to support her. And I asked them why, and they simply state because she's a black woman. That's all they need. And to me, it's very foolish because just like people of all race can be bad, people of all sexes can be bad, and just because someone looks like me doesn't mean that they have my best intentions at heart. And I honestly, I wish that I could get behind Kamala simply for the fact that she looks like me, but I can't in good faith. I've done my research. I hope all of you guys do your research. I hope that all the people around me do their research, because I'm not voting for Kamala. You couldn't beat me with a stick and make me do it. She did too much. She did too many things to California, and then it's crazy that now when you go back and try to look at statistics from the time when she was the district attorney, you can't find any of it. All of it stops.
Erased.
Yeah, it's all stopped, and to me that's very strange. What do you think, Ms. Nora?
I think that they're burying it. Like when I researched, shouts out to our Kamala Harris expose. For those of you interested, you can find it on our page where we did a deep dive into Kamala Harris's record. We could not find anything. I mean, we looked for hours and days and we could not find some of the stuff that we knew existed. I mean, I had friends telling me, make sure you include this, make sure you include that. The biggest thing was the man that died on death row under her watch in California, and I couldn't find information on it. It was so buried. So, definitely do your research. Definitely, maybe go on X and see why people don't want her, like why people aren't supporting her. Listen to a different viewpoint, because I'm telling you, open your eyes, open your ears. Don't trust what they are telling you. Make sure you do your own research. So that goes into our next clip. Does Kamala stand a chance with white women? And this is what Dr. Umar thinks on the issue.
Choose Trump over Clinton. When it came time for the Electoral College to cast them votes, they went with Trump. So if they chose Trump over Clinton, here's the question, Art. If American white women chose Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton the first time Trump ran against a Democratic female, Why would they switch and choose Kamala Harris over Trump the second time? If they chose Trump over a very well experienced, very popular Hillary Clinton the first time, why would they switch and now choose a black woman, half black, half South Asian, half East Indian? Why would they choose a black woman over Trump when they didn't even choose Hillary Clinton over Trump?
I have to personally agree with that. I am not believing some of these polls. I think that people are saying they're voting for her because they don't want to look racist. That's just me. Gray, what do you think? And I know what you're going to say, but go ahead. Tell me what you think.
No, I'm gonna give a long-winded response. The big difference now is like in 2016, Trump was like the new shiny thing that was like, okay, he's an outsider, he's coming into this. So he had none of the baggage that he has now. He's been president, he's been arrested, he has all these different things. He had drama before, but now he has all this baggage. And I'm gonna use one of the white phrases. I think blue, no matter who, voters are going to vote Democrat regardless. I think it's another set of voters who are just voting against Trump. And then I think the Nikki Haley voters, and I feel like that's who Kamala Harris has as a group of people. I feel like what is helping her in the polls is that some people, the white women that we're talking about specifically, I don't think they'll necessarily vote for Kamala. I think they'll be voting against Donald Trump. President, what do you think, D. White?
Yeah, I definitely disagree. I think the blue, no matter who, we don't need to talk about them. That's just like talking about MAGA. You don't have to talk about the MAGA crowd. We all know what they're doing, and the blue, no matter who, we all know what they're doing. The problem is with the independent people and the moderates on each side. I 100% agree with Dr. Umar. Trump won the first time, without people being able to look back at an actual Trump presidency. We had no idea what this guy from this show Apprentice was going to do as a president. And they picked him over Hillary then with no experience. He was he was popular, but he was a nobody in politics, right? And white women chose him by the droves, right? Because that's who it really comes down to. Is because women are the majority voters. This time we have Trump with all his baggage, plus the great look at his presidency. We have all that, and we also have Kamala and everything that happened while Joe was the president, because that's one and the same. A vote for Joe is a vote for Kamala. A vote for Kamala is a vote for Joe. I think that more people would have probably voted for Joe Biden than are going to vote for Kamala Harris. I honestly believe that. If you talk to someone who's a moderate, most people, not the MAGA, not the blue, no matter who, people in the middle, talk to the ordinary American who's not really that much into politics. They watch it here and there, they hear this. They don't like Kamala Harris. They don't. They don't think she's qualified. People who get their news from independent places, because if you listen to Fox News, she's the devil. If you listen to CNBC or ABC, she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So that kind of matters too. But I definitely think that he's right, and I think that she stands not a chance in this world.
I definitely feel a shift in the last 24 hours as far as her. People are very angry that she's now saying that she was not the border czar, because they're again, another lie they're saying. They're saying she was never the border czar, but there's multiple clips that she was the border czar. So it's funny now that there's supposed to be some sort of accountability on that. She wasn't it. So I'm interested to see how this affects the election cycle. Gray, is there anything you want to add before the next clip?
What they're saying is Republicans named her the border czar, and then I guess she was supposed to get the job. Yeah, this was on Fox News when Fox and Friends said this. I guess she was supposed to have the job, and she felt like, no, I don't want the job, so I'm just going to do the root cause of the issue. So that seems to be the narrative that they're putting out. That
There's
Republicans
50.
need to do that.
There's literally there's 50 clips of
we played
left wing people calling her the border czar.
We have a clip of Biden calling her the border czar. We played
left
it.
and right. But what they're trying to do is a very brilliant tactic. It's not going to work because we have the internet, and the internet is forever. But it is what they're trying to do is distance her from all of her mistakes and all of her
Right.
mess ups. Yeah. Oh, the Republicans came up with that. She wasn't the border czar. She was never the border czar. Don't look over there. That's just the things that they're doing to try to bamboozle America again. And people usually fall for it. But I'm so glad that we have video evidence and it's circulating around the internet everywhere. So they're not going to be able to get away with that one.
I agree.
That just makes him look more of a liar, because we all heard you say it. We all seen it. We all heard Joe Biden call her that. And now you guys are saying, no, you're crazy. That never happened.
Anywho, the next clip is Dr. Umar's prediction for November 5th, which is our election day.
Are red. My bougie nigga living in the suburbs, living in an all-white community, you do not want to be caught outside on November the 5th if Donald Trump loses. Because here's my thinking, Art. We only got 3 months and a few weeks to the presidential election. Let me say that again. We only got 3 months and a few weeks to the presidential election on November 5th. You mean to tell me Joe Biden backs out with 3 months left, anoints Kamala to his spot? She only got 3 months to campaign, and you still going to beat a very popular Donald Trump? Do you think the American people are going to believe Donald Trump lost fairly after y'all tried him in court, convicted him in court? And I know we'll get later to thinks they were robbed of this election. January 6th takeover, that was nothing but a pool party for what you're about to see in this country if Donald Trump loses this election. I would not want to be a black person in a white neighborhood on November the 5th, 2024, when those presidential election results are read and Donald Trump is not the winner. I believe white folks are going to show up and show out, Art. You better have a gun, a knife. Black people better exercise, what is it, our Second Amendment?
I don't agree with that. They didn't. They predicted it before. It didn't happen before. I don't know. What do you think, D?
No, I agree with him. I think because I think it's gonna be an uprising no matter what happens. If Donald Trump wins, the left's gonna go ape shit and they're gonna tear stuff up like they always do. If if Donald Trump loses, like he said, January 6th was just a flash in the pan for what's gonna happen. Because I see on social media, people are already asking, at what point do we get the pew-pews? Words that you can't say.
Please don't. Please watch what you say. Yeah.
People ask at what point are we supposed to go get the pew-pews? Because a lot of people feel like democracy is being overthrown in our face, and it is. By the
a lot
Democrats.
of people are mad about these polls, by the way. They're not understanding how Trump was up 2 points and now she's up 7. It doesn't make sense. So they're already saying, they're already starting to set it up. I do. Okay, so I guess I'm hoping he's wrong, but I do feel like people are upset. And another reason why people are upset is no one covered what happened this week at the Capitol. Please be woke. Those young people that were protesting against Palestine destroyed the Capitol, Washington, D.C. There's photos of it all over. I can't post it because YouTube has it banned, but they destroyed the Liberty Bell. They destroyed the monument, spray painting, graffiti, and that's just the beginning, I feel.
Yeah, and they were fighting the police. They're out there fighting the police too, but no one's talking about it. No one's talking about that.
Great.
Whenever that's the thing about the left. They always try to have the moral high ground, but they're the most violent people in this country. The most violent.
Dr. Umar, I believe he's right. I believe like if Kamala Harris wins, Trump is gonna go right on Truth Social and say they cheated me. Do you see what they did?
They're stealing democracy.
They're stealing like they're calling me the threat to democracy. She wasn't supposed to run, blah blah. So we already know that's gonna happen. Do I feel like the left? I think Kamala's the underdog, and so I think they might Even though I'm a Democrat, I'm kind of skeptical whether she's going to win or not. I'm gonna vote for her because she's the Democratic nominee. But I wouldn't be like super shocked if she lost. So I mean, it's so close to the election, switching up a candidate. There's so many different variables. I think it's a big chance that she will lose, even though the polls say she's leading. But I live in a white neighborhood, so I hope that nothing happens. But I'll be prepared.
Well, the next clip I'm going to play for you, he discusses what he thinks happened with Trump. And I'm just gonna let him say what he thinks happened to Trump on July 13th. Really,
Donald Trump assassination attempt was completely staged, completely fabricated, and completely artificial. And I'm gonna tell you why. Whenever there is a state execution, there's always a backup killer. JFK had a backup killer. Dr. King had a backup killer. Every time they want to take somebody out, there's a backup killer. If the first shooter missed, the second shooter hit. They leave nothing to chance. You're not going to convince me that somebody wanted to kill Donald Trump here in Pennsylvania on July 13th while Kamala Harris was downtown Philadelphia on the campaign trail. And it was a lone 20-year-old on a roof. This is what they want you to believe. A 20-year-old nerd got up on the roof with no help, no support, no comrades, and tried to take out former President Donald Trump. You know what that sounds like? Running the same playbook. Look at it. Same playbook. A 20-year-old nerd climbed up on the roof and shot President Trump. And let me get this right. National Security Agency couldn't see him. CIA couldn't see him. Secret Service couldn't see him. FBI couldn't see him. Homeland Security couldn't see him. Come on, man. Y'all got satellites that could spot a fly on the ground. So you got satellites that can spot a mosquito on the wall, but y'all couldn't spot in the ear. If you that close, you pop off again with a second shot. If you hit him that close, you popping off with a second shot. Why didn't he use a semi-automatic to begin with? But here's the other question. Why didn't they cover Donald Trump's head? So somebody wanted to take you out. You just got shot in the ear and your head is still up, not because you walk down the steps with your head exposed. Come on, Art. Who do you know? Listen, if you in the hood and somebody shoot, what's the first thing you do? Duck down. In the hood, you're going to duck down. So you running for president of the United States. You just got shot in your ear and they still leave your head exposed almost the entire time he was on the rostrum, going down the steps, and Donald Trump even stood up and put a fist and shook his fist like this. Bull crap. Bull crap. That was a state-sponsored artificial assassination attempt. And the question is, why did they do it? I'm going to tell you why I think. This is my early.
I don't agree with any of this, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, somebody else died, and one other person was seriously injured. Had that not have been the case, I would entertain that conversation, possibly. Secondly, can you imagine how that conversation went if that was true with Trump? So you mean to tell me I have to turn at the right time and you make sure you won't blow off my head? I don't believe it. I think it's fake news. I don't agree. That's the only thing I don't agree with Dr. Umar about today. D, what do you think?
It's so amazing to me that everybody hates conspiracy theories until it fits them, until it helps them out. Now, now this was all staged and all set up, and Trump let a guy from 150 yards away take a shot at his ear. Do you see how silly that sounds? It sounds so
shot
stupid.
in his direction at all. Let's pretend he didn't really get shot. There was bullets flying. The chance was Secret Service could have been flying the bullets again. Does that make any sense? Think about it. It sounds really bizarre. You think he would really agree to that? Like, come on.
It's very made up to me, and it just doesn't. I think the problem is that he didn't get killed, and that's what they're upset about. Is that it's not real. If it's real, he kill him then. Let him die. Yeah, if he kill him right now if it's real. That's what they want.
You know why he didn't get killed? It was divine intervention. I do agree with the person that said that. God wants Trump alive for some reason. Maybe could be the reason is we're going to have our first female black president. I don't know, but he was saved by God. not by no like it was a stage thing. I don't believe that. I don't.
What do you think, Mr. Gray?
I think I agree with y'all that I don't believe it was staged. Condolences to the family, and hopefully
Yeah.
Trump is healed. But I think the conspiracy theories just give more and more fuel.
Bizarre.
Because I don't know if y'all saw, but Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, said in court yesterday, I believe, that
Yeah.
he doesn't know if he was shot or if it was shrapnel or glass. So now it's even more conspiracy theories, just like, he didn't really get shot. So it's just getting more fueled and fueled and fueled. My question to you guys is, y'all vote for Trump, do you feel like people continuously saying it's staged is going to affect people that want to vote for Trump?
No.
I think that the people who are going to vote for Trump made up in their mind months ago that they're voting for Trump. And I don't think, short of us watching him murder, do something bad to somebody on camera, is the only way you people will change their mind.
Agree.
They're dug in. We're set in our ways and we're ready to go. Unless you guys can give us some real hardcore evidence that this guy is a bad person. And at this point, I hate to be one of those blue no matter who people on the other side, or MAGA no matter what. But I think I kind of am right now. I mean, because I wouldn't, no matter what they said, I wouldn't believe them because they lie so much.
Correct.
Yeah.
So DY, you basically just confirmed what Trump said. I can shoot somebody on what he said, 42nd
No,
Avenue.
if I see him, as I said, if I seen that or something like that, there's no way I vote for the guy. But it would have to be at that level because you guys have cried wolf so many times now that no one believes you.
True.
Yeah.
And I think the conspiracy theories are actually bringing people towards Trump because when you really talk about it, it sounds crazy. Like, can you imagine how that conversation allegedly went? So let me get this straight. You want me to turn like this? It's crazy. It sounds crazy.
I think the same people that believe the other conspiracy theories believe that it was staged. I think it's the same people that believe the same. So you think it's a different set of people?
The people that believe the conspiracy theories suffer from TDS. Can you tell what it means, D?
Yeah, I think people believe in conspiracies that help their narrative. And the reason that they believe this one is because it helps their narrative. Oh, Trump isn't a badass. He's not a tough guy.
Is TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Okay.
Yes.
I think what D. White said makes more sense. That it's a separation. It's conspiracy theories on the right and conspiracy theorists on the left, and who benefits from it? Those are people that push that certain conspiracy theory. I can agree with that. Yeah. I feel like that makes the most sense.
I can tell you, I guess you're right. Because I think back to my aunt, and I'm sure she's having a field day right now. Okay, so the next clip is, why did Trump stage it, according to Dr. Umar, if he did stage it?
That the power structure was going to tell Joe Biden to bow out. Somebody got the drop because the assassination attempt was a few days ago. Biden just stepped down. Somebody in the Republican elite got the drop that Biden was going to step down. So they artificially created this assassination attempt to do what? Increase Donald Trump's popularity with the American people. This man survived an assassination attempt. How can you not vote for him? He's the people's champ. He doesn't represent the power structure. He doesn't represent the establishment. He doesn't represent the elite. He doesn't represent the shadow government. Donald Trump represents the people. If he didn't, why would they try to kill him? That was a publicity stunt for popularity because they knew Biden was stepping down and they need Donald Trump to be able to take on and win against Kamala or whoever the Democratic Party anoints in Biden's.
Gray, what do you think about that?
See, this is my problem with Dr. Umar. So he's basically saying that Joe Biden and Donald Trump and everybody in cahoots together. So he basically said, okay, Joe Biden got to go, so we have to put Trump in. No, I don't think that at all. I think that they really are for each of their parties and they have their own beliefs on how the country.
No, that's not what he was saying. He's saying that it got leaked that Joe Biden was about to step down soon because after that horrible debate. So because it got leaked, they then said we got to plan something great to make sure Trump gets reelected.
But Trump was winning. Why would
Trump was winning against Biden though.
Okay, so maybe I'm a little confused, but what he said to me, what it sounds like, because he said, we said we got to make sure Trump wins because Joe Biden's stepping down. I don't know the people he's talking about, so I don't know who he's saying had this completely planned. I'm just saying that I think Trump has his own plan, Joe Biden has his own plan, and that's what happened. What do you think, D. White?
Yeah, I've already stated that I think that conspiracy theory is foolish, and I hate to keep entertaining it, because to me it just doesn't pass the smell test. Everything about that. If anyone was in any kind of collusion, or in cahoots together, it wouldn't have been the Trump team. That just makes no sense. What would make sense, and this is just me thinking, this isn't. I have no facts here. This is just a guy on a podcast stating his ideas. I think that because it was such a huge lapse in judgment or coverage from the Secret Service and the powers that be, I think that if it was orchestrated, it was a small group of people in the Secret Service who allowed the shooter to get up there, who allowed Donald Trump to come on stage while he was up there, and who allowed him to take those 5 shots before terminating the target. Because we already established that they knew he was up there for at least 6 minutes before he started shooting and before Trump came on stage. So if we are going to paint some conspiracy theories, that's where I place the blame at. I would think that Secret Service put a hit on somebody, told the Secret Service to do it. I'm sure they didn't act on their own. Someone gave them the order to don't look over there at that building, don't look over there at that ladder. When the crowd starts saying it's a guy up there, hey, you look over this way. Pay attention. Don't look over there, and let him take the shot. He missed, and this is what we're dealing with now.
Well, Dr. Umar explains why this election is crucial and how China and India plays into it. And I think you'll understand more on the people he's referring to that control these matters.
It is the new superpower. The only thing keeping China from being the world superpower right now is this country. If this country descends into chaos, China runs the world. Does the power structure, does the secret government of this country really want China in charge? That's the question. That this whole thing was set up from the beginning by the shadow government. Don't be surprised. It could have been in the playbook 8 years ago that we're going to make Joe Biden step down on a Sunday. No way. No way. That could have been in the playbook to anoint Kamala. And you say, why? Why they want Kamala Harris? You know why? India is a world superpower. India is a world superpower. India is the tech giant of the planet Earth. She has one of the top 5 populations in the world. She's one of the most influential governments on Earth. And America cannot afford for Russia.
So pretty much what he's saying is there's a shadow government. He broke it down in another video that I had. And pretty much he's saying that the Rothschilds, the Soros, the big families of this country, the millionaire, billionaire people all get together, they talk, and they plan elections, and they plan what's going to happen. And they're pretty much in fear of China taking over in Africa, which they're doing, that's fact, and taking over in the Caribbean, which they're doing, that's a fact. So he's saying that it might be better to have Kamala Harris dealing with those countries versus a Trump.
China's economy is failing, but you are correct with what China's been doing. And what China did differently from us, when we was growing up as kids, or we'll see that commercial where they got the flyers on the kid and say, send 10 cents a month or whatever. China's actually going over there and building infrastructure, giving these people jobs and education. So that's one of the big things. And I guess when we was talking earlier, he was saying that the shadow government is all these people that's orchestrating this. And I have seen on the far right, actually, where they keep saying this whole Indian collusion thing, where they're saying Vivek Ramaswamy is part of some type of Indian conspiracy. JD Vance and now Kamala Harris, is that they're using these people to control the U.S. government. India is, because these people have Indian descent. And so that's another like conspiracy theory that I've been seeing as far as India, and I've saw it in this election. What do you think, D. White?
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Umar that China would be runner-up if America was to disappear, but that's the only way China would ever beat us. Is we disappear to cease to exist as a nation. Not because we're on hard times. Our GDP is way more. The whole world trades in dollars. No one uses the Chinese renminbi. China has capital controls on their money, so no one would want to deal in allies when we've been going around the world making enemies. And so I think that does play a big part geopolitically. Because like while we're bombing buildings and blowing up stuff, China's going to poor countries and building ports, hospitals, roadways, power plants, all that stuff. So they're definitely handing out the helping hand. Is he right about Kamala? I have no idea. That's way above my pay grade. Yeah, maybe it could be true, but I don't know.
Well, I think that another thing he said is the extremists in this country are going to ruin our country, and it's causing us to potentially have a civil war. And I'm absolutely agreeing with that. And that would be how China would swoop in and take over. So let us know what you think in the comments. We broke down a whole lot. Do you think Dr. Umar was right about the comments that he made about Kamala Harris, about Trump, about why the powers that be would like to see Kamala Harris in power? What would happen if America was to fall from grace? Would China become the new superpower? Great. Any closing comments?
Yes, please comment and let us know which conspiracy theories you believe. And we wanted to do a poll and see like what people actually believe. What about you, D. White?
Yeah, like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you next time, and always vote.
Always vote.